today we're going to have what we call the Realtor Collective. And what does the Realtor Collective mean? Well, it's collaboration. It's a collective of us. And so, Mr. Phil Hahn and I were sitting around 3 months ago. We said, we got to bring the spirit of MLS, the spirit of who we are and what we do back together. It doesn't matter what brokerage you're from, where you work, but we as realtors need to come as a collective and be better together. Who agrees with that? Yes. So this is what came of our brainstorm is today. So we're really excited to share with you what we're doing. And this image kind of shares that, where we together are better, we come together, we share our wins, our losses, we're going to have panels and so forth to kind of go through that, but we're all better together. Would you not agree? Absolutely. So with that, we're going to kick it off with a fabulous speaker called Sir Darren Jackman.
To put myself, to disrupt my life out of my comfort zone into my learning zone and push myself. When I walked in the room the other day in Las Vegas and I'm with all these people from around the world, 250 people, and I'm looking around the room thinking, wow, I feel the dumbest guy in this group right now. But I'm at the right place at the right time with the right people. Because there's so much growth and development for myself. Right? Because I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. So I ask you today to look at your life. That if you will change, everything will change for you. And with that, something I've dedicated my life to. And didn't want to stand up for a moment? Want to stand up? You're like, don't pick me. Right? Just tap in a little bit of my life. Tatiana was a high school teacher for 35 years. Taught a lot of high school students, maybe even taught some of your kids, nieces or nephews in this city. We have built a family foundation. And one of the things I'd like you to consider in your life is to dedicate your life to a cause greater than yourself. Whatever that is for you. It could be spiritually, it could be financially, it could be relationally, it could be health-wise, whatever it is. I want you to consider in your life to dedicate your life to a cause greater than yourself. It could be raising extraordinary kids. It could be changing and cleaning up your neighborhood. But we actually created our own family foundation called Link Foundation. We built our first school over in Liberia, West Africa. And, it really got real the other day when somebody tried to kidnap some of our kids in school. Got real, human trafficking. Got real, that people will sell children for all vital organs. Got real of what our mission is and what we're doing in life. That human trafficking. I've had a chance to know some of the biggest people in the world that are on the other side of disrupting human trafficking. But we built a foundation, and we're going to do a lot of big things around the world. You'll see, just watch. Going forward with our foundation, called Link Foundation, is our school. But we dedicate our life to education. Because if you go to a small little village, has anybody in this room ever been on a humanitarian trip to your church or mission trip? A few of you in the room. When you go to a rural village, and I invite you, if you're comfortable right now, if you're like kind of just going through the motions of life, you're kind of like, my life isn't really working. I don't know what my purpose is. I don't have that burning desire anymore. I just can't figure this out. Go volunteer. Just whatever it's through a church, through a charity, through a nonprofit group, through a service club. There's lots of things online you can check. You can talk to me. You can ask people in the room. Just go volunteer. It could be New Mexico. It could be downtown on East Hastings. It could be a First Nation reserve. Don't matter. You decide where it is. It could be with the animals. Right? You could go to an elephant sanctuary. It could be with the girls in Rwanda or Uganda, East Africa. But go spend a week or 2 weeks and just unplug from technology. And just go be a servant leader. And go serve people. Because you're going to go there with a mindset. Some of you will go with it and you go, well, I'm going to change these people. I'll promise you, they'll change your more life. I went to a village a number of years ago in Uganda, East Africa, a rural area of Uganda, East Africa. I went to an area, my life got disrupted. Big time. So I showed up in this village, people are living in mud huts, and they're sleeping on mud huts. And I went in there. You know what's interesting? I arrived, and one of the elders comes to me and goes, excuse me, sir, why are you wearing clothes? Why are you wearing a costume? I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, why are you wearing a costume? Why do you have to wear something that's manufactured to impress people to look good? I'm like, what do I do? He goes, take your clothes off and just be one with us and be present. I'm like, do you want to take all my clothes off and just walk around the village for 3 days? Yeah. And eat grasshoppers and crickets with us. Just be one. Get away from the first world mentality. Just be with us. And I thought, wow. And I got completely disrupted my life. And it completely transformed myself the way I connect with other people. So I want to thank you for being here today. My time is up, but I want to acknowledge you really for being here. Because what you're learning today and about to learn going forward can have an influence and impact on your life, your family's life, your children's life for a long, long period of time. Realize that you're around the right people, the right tribe, the right village, the right community of like-minded people together, just like what Randy Dick said earlier, burning a ball by a ball of fire. It's a collective intelligence here. So thank you with that. I'm in deep honor and service to be here today. It's been a real blessing to be of service. And I want to thank you so much for allowing me to be here. Give your
So 2 things out of that. I got proximity is power, and I better listen to my wife.
Okay, so we're going to have our influencer panel up right now. So I'd like to welcome to the stage Thomas Calla. Come on up. And just so you say. And last but not least, James Knoll. Come on up. So I'm just going to give a quick bio on who these 3 gentlemen are and a little bit of background for you so you all can understand who it is that we've got up in front of us. James is a mega agent. He has created many millionaires through his real estate investment strategies throughout the country, throughout North America for that matter. He's a gifted and talented speaker. Operates a super high level team, not on only one city but in 2 cities, okay, called the Mogul Real Estate Group. It's absolutely incredible. He is a top, what is it here? I want to make sure I've got the your numbers right here, James. Top 0.054% of all national realtors in terms of production in the past 12 months. Provides tremendous mentorship and leadership to the agents that partner with him, as well as to anyone learning about real estate investing and the investment community as well. He's a definite servant leader and someone I'm happy to call my friend. So, James, let's give James a big round of applause. And at the end, we've got Harsimran Singh. Harsimran has been a licensed agent, ladies and gentlemen, for only 3 years. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. Been in Canada for 16 years, has an amazing wife and 2 kids. And by the way, 3 years in business and about 250 to 300 transactions, including pre-sale and resale business in the last 12 months. So let's give Harsimran a big round of applause. And lastly, but not least, Thomas Calla. So Thomas and I go back, 15 years? Yeah, about 15 years. Used to coach my kids hockey, and I used to say, you know what, Tommy, you got to get your real estate license. You've just got this great energy, and people really like you. And he'd say, no, you know what, I'm a financial analyst. I'm going to be a chartered accountant, Kelly, and wanted to go down that route and work with a Fortune 50 company called Schnitzer, which is a steel and recycling company, and had some pretty darn good success. And I'd always see him, and it was funny because he'd come to my place, get my kids, take them off to the rink, whatever. And I'd always be in a suit. It'd be like 7 o'clock in the morning, or whether it was 11 o'clock at night, and I'd be in my suit. Thomas was always like, yeah, what are you going? What are you doing? He'd always look at me kind of funny and whatever. And so one day we ran into each other, and I remember it was in Vic West. He was living in this hotel at the time. So that's kind of ironic that we're actually having this event here. Living in the hotel at the time, and said, man, yeah, I think I'm gonna get my real estate license now. And I said, well, this is amazing, you're gonna do it. And so he did get his license. That was in late 2018, but eXp hadn't opened yet. We hadn't opened in BC yet, okay? And so we said, okay, well, listen, you like to deal with people that have money, and you want to create wealth for people, so why not go and align yourself with a luxury brokerage, which he did, Sotheby's, which is a great company, okay? He was there, and he was doing about 10 hours to 20 hours of training a week in eXp world on our platform while he was waiting for us to launch. Okay, well, fast forward to late 2018, we do launch in British Columbia, and Thomas's first year of real estate did just over 50 closed transactions and just under $600,000 of gross commission income. Okay, that was his first year in the game. Fast forward to 2021, and we're looking at just under $2 million. Is that correct? In gross commission income. How many rental properties have you bought in the last 3 years now? 3, and you're building a custom home as well. So anyway, there's Thomas Calla. Let's give him a round of applause as well.
Thank you, Joe. Well, who does R&D? Is that research and development, or is that rip off and duplicate? I built my team really on, and my career, my business on R&D, rip off and duplicate. I followed others. I looked around and said, hey, that agent's really crushing it. What are they doing? How can I incorporate that into my world? And really, that's what we want to do with the panel here, is we want our panelists to share their wins, their losses, what they do, and how they've done it to get to where they are today. And each one of you guys are influencers in the marketplace in a big way. So, first question, and Simon, why don't you start this off? The market is shifting. We can all agree that, right? In fact, some of you are probably running out to the lobby right now to take a call on price improvement, right? You've got people that need a price improvement. I got a call. Anyway, so the market is shifting. What do we do? And what is the most important thing to do in this marketplace? Is it mindset? Is it the data that you collect? Is it how you're messaging things to the people that you work with? What would you suggest is the most important thing in this market right now?
What I've learned in the last few years is you got to adapt to the market. When the market shifts, you can't keep doing the same things you're doing on a daily basis. So now the market has shifted for the last 1 month. We're back to the drawing tables. Talking to our mentors or coaches, seeing how we should change our daily work. If you keep doing the same thing, it's insanity, right? Keep doing the same things and expecting different results.
One, being a realtor, you gotta be able to realize when the market's starting to shift by looking at data. So stats, you could have seen this coming 60, 90, 120 days ago, right? So if you focus on stats, you can tell when the market's starting to shift. And then the biggest thing is communication.
James, you are 2 markets, which is pretty incredible. Think about that. He's got teams in Edmonton and in Vancouver. And maybe you can share a little bit about the market changes between the 2 cities and then how you're adjusting as a team lead.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about real estate is that it's always going to be hard in some regards. Like if we rewind 90 days ago, it was really hard to have a buyer client 90 days ago. You were running around, participating in bidding wars, trying not to freak out, and it was really hard to find seller clients to sell their homes because it was super competitive to get listings. Okay? But now we're like, oh gosh, I wish the market 90 days ago was the one I was working in. Well, it was hard 90 days ago, and it's also hard right now. So what you really have to focus on, and I've been through a lot of market cycles in both cities, what you have to focus on, these guys are making great points about adapting to the market. So what that means is, if it's a seller's market, focus your efforts on seller clients. We're turning into a buyer's market. So there's a conversation to be had of, hey, I know you're waiting to see if the market was going to turn. Well, your waiting is over. Now you're seeing the market turn. And it's a great time to start re-engaging your buyer clients who got sick of all the bidding wars 90 days ago, who didn't want to make a move 90 days ago. So it's all about understanding which clients are going to have the easiest time in the market condition and then focusing your effort on communicating with that client type.
What is some of the messaging that you're sharing with buyers?
So some of the messaging, we're calling back people who said they wanted to wait and see. And that's, how many people, just quick show of hands, how many people here would say they are pretty darn good at using CRM technology? Okay. If you were really darn good at using CRM technology, you'd go into your database and do a search for everybody who said they were going to wait and see 3 to 6 months ago, and give them a call or send them a mass text that said, hey, I know you were going to wait and see. What were you waiting to see? The market softened. Were you sick of the bidding wars 3 months ago? Because I remember when we chatted 3 months ago, you said that was something you really didn't have a comfort level in participating with. Well, guess what? We're not really seeing a lot of those anymore. So let's have another look at what's out there in the market. That's the kind of conversations that we're having right now, is just understanding who wasn't ready or who wasn't comfortable with the market that passed. Well, they're comfortable now. So instead of saying, oh gosh, this business has dried up. Well, certain business isn't going to happen right now, but that has completely opened the door for people that didn't want to do business 90 days ago, 120 days ago. And so it's identifying those people and having that conversation with them.
Awesome. James brought up a good point, CRM. I'm going to say I've failed miserably on a contact management system. I've been now 30 years in the biz, and I did not take that seriously to begin with. And so a question I'm going to ask the panel if you could turn back time, what would you do differently? Or what would you improve on? And mine was, gosh, I wish I would have worked on my CRM so diligently early on, because I have failed that in so many ways. And the power of a CRM is unbelievable. So maybe that's a question I'll ask. So what is something that, if you could turn back time and start over again, what would you do differently?
I was really cautious, so I would say leverage people and technology and listen to your mentor. Right? Everyone's going to make mistakes. I make mistakes daily. Ask my wife; she's in the back of the room. But listen to your mentors. Brandy is a great resource for me to feel. Like, those guys have completely changed my life just by listening to them and adapting what they've done. They've made the mistakes before, whether it be 5 years or 10 years ago, or even this year. Right? So listen to people that tell you, "Hey, you should try this." It makes a big difference.
Thank you so much, Adam. Can I give a hand? Okay, everybody. Thanks for joining us again. We've got an amazing speaker, Ben Oosterfeld, which he's written this amazing book. It's a bestseller on Amazon called The Richest Real Estate Agent. And Ben and I have been hanging out. We're good friends. And he's taught me so many valuable things and given me insight on things that I hadn't seen as an agent, as a person. So I'm really grateful that Ben could join us. By the way, you're all going home with a book. You do not have to buy the book. You're getting a free book. So if you stole one, don't worry about it. Who stole one? Who stole one? I want to know. There it is. Right there. Awesome. Fantastic. Okay. Well, I'm going to share a little bit about Ben, because I think it's very helpful for you to understand where Ben's coming from. So Ben did not have an easy start. He lived on the streets from the age of 14, survived a failed suicide attempt at age 15, and later spent 365 days in rehab. Ben's inner game needed work. He was a purebred people pleaser. Who's a people pleaser in here? Not always good. They lived with a manipulative and controlling man who always compared himself to others to the point of constant self-sabotage. Ben has coached entrepreneurs, national companies, and previously he built a real estate investment company that held 61 properties with investors in 4 separate cities. After getting his real estate license, he built a multi-million-dollar real estate business with an award-winning top national team in 3 years. Today, Ben has transitioned. He helps business owners get clear about who they really are and what they really want. He helps them make the right changes in their business and life to reach new goals about building lives they love. His focus is on coaching, speaking, running personal growth retreats, which I've been part of, which have been amazing, really amazing. And so without any further ado, Ben, it's all yours, buddy.
You know why most people become real estate agents? They watch HGTV and they love houses. True. I love real estate. I'm so passionate about it. Do you understand what this game is? There is one job called sales, right, and service, and the rest of it we don't do much with. And then we go crazy. Let's imagine this. Imagine a guy who's an amazing cook. All his friends come over, they say what? Oh my goodness, you should start a restaurant. And he's like, I think I should. Everyone would love my food, right? I'd be so good at showing houses. Oh man, I'm a people person. This business would fit great. It's like the cook. But what about somebody comes to you and goes, hey, look, here's how you run a business. This is what I hear real estate's doing. I'm starting a business, I'm a cook, but I'm going to do the serving. I'm going to do my own bookkeeping. I'm going to do my own cleaning. The dishwasher, I'll just buy a bunch more dishes and do it later. And I'll host. I'll run back to the kitchen and drop, oh shit, I got to order shrimp. Got to do the ordering. We need inventory. Oh shit, this stuff's going bad. We need to manage the refrigeration repairs. What would you say to that person? Shoot it out at me. Come on. What would you say? No, you'd say you're an idiot. Right? Like, really. You'd say you're an idiot, and what? You're going to fail. Well, that's kind of how I see real estate agents. Scaled real estate business model. Do you guys understand what that is? Scale is what? Give me a little homework here. Money, freedom, and meaning. If you have 2 or 1, it doesn't work. You will pay a price somewhere along the line. The next one is, you don't need to learn anything new. If we learned nothing new, you would still be very successful today with what you've already learned. Correct? So let's not get stuck avoiding, which is an energy that makes me feel bad, so I avoid what I should be actually doing. But then why are we not doing it? It's because maybe you should outsource it. Just get someone else. $20 for 60 minutes is the greatest, unbelievable awareness. It is so exciting. $20 for 60 minutes of time? Like, are you kidding me? So guess what that is? $60 for 3 hours of help? Get that into your head. $60. But we go, oh, I can't afford 40, 50,000. That's an emotional friction to avoid what really you need to do, which is actually hire and go through the uncomfortable process of personal growth to actually become a leader, to move from salesman to a business owner. That takes emotional intelligence, not strategy. Straight up. I just want to say thank you so much, guys, who dealt with me. I appreciate it.
This is big stuff. Like, I need a little bit of clapping. It's not every day that we get to lock 2 developers in a project marketing room and let's go with some action, right? So anyways, great panel here.
Just to be clear, it figures that the realtor's in the middle.
Absolutely. So why don't we do this? Rather than I do a big long introduction, just share who you are, what you do, where your development company is, and what you've been doing recently.
I'm Leonard Kirchhoff Construction. Kirchhoff developed, build more recently. We currently have, we're based in Chilliwack, developer and builder. We currently have about 1,500 homes under construction, mostly multifamily in wood frame and concrete across a variety of Metro Vancouver regions, so not in Vancouver proper, so it's Surrey, Langley, Abbotsford, up in Kelowna quite a lot, as well as more recently on the island. So.
Fantastic. Scott, share a little bit about yourself.
So Scott Brown, little over 3 decades of experience, worked globally, everywhere locally, CEO of Fifth Avenue for 9 years. Our subsidiaries include companies in the Okanagan on the island and also in downtown Vancouver. Last year we sold across our entities, about 2,000 transactions, almost $1.65 billion in sales. 90% of it was partnering with folks like you who represent buyers. You're vital to our business.
Fantastic. TL?
Yeah, they're just my initials. If you're wondering, it's not French. My legal name is Peter Lewis, so I'm trying to pronounce that a few times really fast. With Diverse Properties, VP of Development and one of the partners. We're located in Abbotsford, and right now we have projects in Soyuz, Kamloops, Mission, Abbotsford, and Chilliwack. Probably have about 20 plus active projects on the go, and we are an integrated company where we syndicate, develop, construct, as well as manage projects.
So let's start off with question number 1. The market is changing. It is shifting. And the development cycle, so you buy a piece of dirt, and by the time it actually closes with actual sales, is roughly 5 years average. What do you do? How do you plan for those kind of changes? And how do you see the market today with the shift that's happening? It's a big question.
Where do we start with that? Looking at the last 5 years, it's been extremely vibrant. A lot of sales, a lot of construction. We have a lot on our plate right now as a construction company, building a lot of homes. And looking at it from our perspective as a developer, having a breather in the market where sales might actually not be as vibrant this year, we look at it as a good thing in some ways where it gives us a chance to catch up on delivering the product that has been sold. And we are also now looking at buying properties that are going to go through the next cycle of development. It's going to take 1, 2, 3 years in a lot of cities to get the land we buy today ready to go to market in 2 or 3 years. So we look at it as there may be a breather in the market over the next year or two, during which time we're going to get our next cycle of product going.
Excellent. TL?
Yeah, I think Leonard summarized it really well. I mean, we've all been through wars before, we've all been through pandemics before, we've all been through interest rate hikes before. I think as long as we just keep moving, be cautious, cash in our world is extremely important, so being cautious with how much we leverage, making sure that if there is a slowdown, we can keep things moving so that when the market comes back again, we're ready to go.
Scott.
Listen to these two developers sound like marketers, all positive and everything's been great. So, couple things. One of the hidden blessings of COVID with our staff at Fifth Avenue was to understand the importance of, hey, this stuff's not good for your soul. We need to take care of each other and be resilient. But number two was we need to be adaptable. So there is no new normal. That's a myth, okay? Don't wait for it, don't crave it. It's, okay, have a beer, what's next? Just get used to it. You all are strong. Be resilient and be adaptable, and we'll figure it out.
Excellent, excellent. You talked in cycles of 3. Is that typical? Like,
Having been doing this for 3, we talked about this while we were waiting to come in, but having been in this business for 3 different decades, the original cycle, some said, was 7 to 10 years, elongated by 10, it's not anymore. I think it's, everything in the world is sped up, including the cycle. I think it's literally 3 years, right? But as a result, the down year isn't down 3 years, right? Think about 2019. Nothing sold from July when all that wonderful government eventually came in, and all of a sudden, nothing really sold, and then in June with COVID, away we went, and then away we went, as you all know.
what do you see as some of the biggest challenges in the next 6 to 12 months? 6 to 12 months.
Elections.
Municipal elections.
Yep. Government, municipal, politics, bureaucracy.
Great point. The most important vote you have, people, is the municipal election. Do you know that? That is the most important vote. Would you agree?
Depends on which side you're on.
Okay.
And for our industry.
Yes, yes. You know, we can make the most difference at the municipal level.
Another thing I would say is what we're seeing is the revenues have come off of it. Our costs are continuing to drive, and we're not seeing a bottom line. We can't put a product on the market where we're making money. So that, you know, it's going to be a challenge.
So one of the things, again, I learned in COVID was make sure every now and then all of us, it's not negative to put yourself for an hour in a compartment and look at the worst case scenario and make it really bad, okay? And see how you can weather it and be prepared for it. So what I can tell you right now is that I don't think it's the worst case scenario, but we need to be ready for it. But what we can see with this in the next 6 to 12 months is when I do my annual business planning every year and look at trends, I saw interest rates coming. I didn't realize the marketer was going to be saying to the guys, this inflation's a problem, right? So the big wild card for me in the 6, 12 months, this interest rate increase, it's going to erode buying power, but it is not going to work on inflation yet. That's the big card, is we're going to have to wait for it to work inflation. So we're going to be riding in a very rare condition where rates are going up and we're not seeing a negative impact on or positive impact on inflation yet.
Okay, with costs going up, I mean, that's a given. With inflation going up, there's a term out there called shrinkflation. You've all heard of shrinkflation? So the Kleenex box doesn't have 65 sheets in it now. It has 60 sheets, but it's the same price. They're shrinking to compensate for inflation. Is that going to play out? And we kind of see that already, right? Smaller units, but how do you see that playing out in development?
Well, the shrinkflation doesn't, what it does in our business isn't necessarily result in you getting the same, less cereal in the same package, feeling like it's the same price, right? You can't really do that with housing. But what it does do is single families under assault, fewer people who want it, townhomes are highly overpriced, they hit the ceiling, they've got to come down, condominiums are still there. But what it's really going to do, last time we went through this, okay, buying power was eroded by 5 to 18% for the average consumer with the stress test. So unless mom or dad will lend them more money, that's meaningful. We're back there again. So what it does is it means there's going to be downward pressure on single family pricing, but people are going to have to, and that entry level condo buyer that all the investors have been sealing out still wants to play, but I think that the problem is more people are going to need to rent for a while, and the rental's not getting built. One of the things I just learned the other day, because of inflation and interest rates, over 1,000 units, Sean Bouchard of Quadra told me this, over 1,000 units of affordable rental have been shelved this month because they can't make the numbers work even with the government lending them money. So that means rents are gonna hold, but people are probably just gonna move down from one preference of product. Everybody in this room, I'm excluding. But maybe you agree with me. Put your hands up if you agree with me. Maybe a little tougher, maybe 2019 wasn't long enough, because it wouldn't hurt us to lose a few licensees.
There's 5,000 realtors in the Fraser Valley right now. We're just about pushing 5,000, 15, 16,000 in Vancouver. And here's a crazy stat. Developers, close your ears. What was it? There's 8,000 agents last year. The Vancouver Real Estate Board didn't make a sale. 8,000.
I should hire them. I got a lot of need for labor.
Yeah, they were fishing enough. Anyways, thank you so much, Scott, PL, Leonard. I really appreciate validating your time to be here and sharing this insight on development. Jolene's got a few little gifts for you. And just to let everybody know that we've got some great wine and nappies here for you. Thank you so much for coming out. This has been really amazing. We have a photo booth there. We've got a great DJ with Kai. Thank you, thank you, thank you.